Hello, folks. In this 5-minute or so reflection on the gospel today, I wanted to give you just a few thoughts about community, especially pertinent, I think, during this time of social isolation, you could say, or social distancing. It was a sad morning for me being here in the church without services this morning. I missed you all, and I'm sure many of you missed your opportunity to come to church and share time, sacrament, silence, and song together. It's so important for us to begin our week together as the community of God. And that's what I want to speak to you about, drawing some thoughts from the gospel lesson which we would have heard today. Today we had the opportunity to hear the magisterial and wonderful conversation, surprisingly theological conversation with very practical outcomes, a wonderful conversation between Jesus and the Samaritan woman at the well. We find the lesson in chapter 4 of the Gospel of John. Today's March 15th, the third Sunday of Lent. The first surprise in the Gospel today is that the Holy Trinity is present. Jesus names himself as the Christ to the Samaritan woman in a very direct way. Jesus mentions God, and Jesus mentions the Spirit. And he says that the people of God must worship God in spirit and in truth. So we have God the Creator, the Holy Spirit, the sustainer of all life, and Jesus, the self-identified Messiah. And so from this community, Jesus says, comes living water. The second thing I want to say is that the living water, the deep well of the church, is the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit, through the gift of the living water, creates and brings into being the community of God, that is to say, the church. Jesus speaks to his disciples and he says to them that they will enter into the labor of those who've gone before. And that community of disciples is, in fact, the community of the church. So the community of the church is nested within the community of the Holy Trinity and nurtured by its connection to the Holy Trinity. So during this time of social distancing, anxiety, wondering if this sneeze means I have the virus, or is that person standing too close to me, and all of that. It's important to know that we are part of that community of disciples. And when we care for one another during this time of social distancing and anxiety, we are entering into the labor of those who've gone before. And just like the disciples, Jesus accompanies us on this journey, and we are nurtured by the living water of the Holy Trinity. So let's keep this in our minds and in our prayers and in our hearts during these anxious days. And let's call those who are most vulnerable. Let's keep our friends in mind. Let's do our share, and let's behave responsibly, washing our hands and following the guidelines that are given us by the health authorities. So God bless you. You are a member of the community of the church, and you are nurtured by the community of the Holy Trinity. God bless you, and see you soon.